Hey. What I want to focus on this video isn't exactly personality, but more importantly, what key things do we notice when we first see someone? For example, you just clicked on this video. Hello! Suddenly you realize a number of things. Not just my face, you notice what I'm wearing, you notice how I'm speaking. You're also noticing my presence. A lot of us come across people who say we shouldn't judge people. In some sense, they're wrong, because anyone you meet, you're gonna form an opinion of subconsciously, just by looking at them. Often it's said that within 10 seconds of meeting someone, or even looking at them, we can form an opinion on them. That necessarily doesn't mean everything is based on looks. A lot of what we can see can follow up through with a personality. So when we first look at someone, what is the first thing we notice? The first thing a person looks at is your face. Now, I don't want to go scientific into this, but the reason we look at a person's face is to recognize them as a human, as a moving object, as a living organism. If you see an animal, you wouldn't look at its arse, you would look at its face, because it's a living animal. We all have that connection, but certain faces, they have certain characteristics, and they sort of give off that trait. The second thing we look at is the way someone's body is. I'm sure all of us can tell the difference between a 40-year-old man and a 2-year-old kid, or some of us. Now, as humans, we are sexual creatures. It doesn't matter what perspective you look at it, whether you're religious or not, we are made, to create offspring. Now, why the body is important is often to get an idea of how healthy a person is. Someone said, I can't remember who, your body is a temple. Temples are made to be looked at and to be desired and to be wondered. A person won't judge you based on your body alone. For example, you might be the most muscular person, but your body posture could also say a lot about how you feel. And that comes on to my next one. Your presence. The way your presence is in the room, it dictates how others perceive you. So you could be a person with a very not as good physique, but be very confident in your posture, and for that reason other people will tend to ignore that and embrace it as a positive instead. With presence, I think it can override your posture and also your looks. It's something that you can't capture with a photo. The way a person feels about themselves often manipulates how others think. It's quite sneaky actually. I've met so many people who don't have the best body or the best looks, but their presence outweighs all of those things. And it's actually quite remarkable because you can't capture that on a photo, and sometimes you can't even capture that on a video. A presence is something that is in the moment. The way a person feels about themselves really dictates the surrounding they're in. A person's clothes can say a lot about them. A lot of the time we can tell by someone's clothes what kind of image they're trying to get across. I'm wearing casual clothes, so a person might see me as laid back and relaxed. But say if I was to wear a suit, I would be seen as completely different, more formal. I think the best way to come across when it comes to clothing is to wear clothes you're comfortable wearing. So things you want to wear. Self-expression really says a lot about a person. The key in this is finding clothes that you feel comfortable in and you think you want to wear. At the end of the day, what clothes is self-expression. An accent and the way a person sounds subconsciously creates an impression, and as humans we pick up the irregular things and they tend to stick with us. Another thing we don't pay attention to but we subconsciously do is hygiene. The way a person smells might evoke an emotion or experience with someone else we had in the past. A lot of the time we smell two smells, either if they smell nice or if they smell bad. Either way we can form an opinion on someone based on the way they smell. So the next thing applies once you meet someone. and that is the relationships you have with other people. So automatically we get drawn into people who have good relationships with others. That's another thing that affects how we perceive someone. If a person has a good relationships with others, they'll have a good relationship with us. That's the end of this video. Those are the things I noticed when I first look at someone. So I hope you learned something about how we perceive people. And on that note, I will say goodbye.